says get ready. I'm live! Woohoo! Good evening, everyone. I am Rebecca from Knitpicks, and I'm here today to do a fun stream. Recently on Instagram and Facebook, I asked you guys all a pressing question. Should I overdye? Oh, nope, wrong camera. This beautiful, beautiful yarn. Actually, let me grab it over here because it's just right there. No need to do the double camera. In one of my mystery grab bags from KnitPicks, I got this stunning hank of yarn. And this is something that is very, very, very me. However, part of the reason why I got the grab bags is that I wanted to challenge myself to overdye the yarn. So we're going to do, it's some overdyeing, maybe glazing, depending on how light the coverage is, but we're also going to do some resist dyeing. We're going to tie sections so that way when we overdye this with a color, we should have some little areas of the brights show through. At least that's the hope. And so that's what we're going to try to do. And the reason why I'm going for this on a stunning yarn like this is that if I had hand dyed a really cool gradient like this, I wouldn't really want to try this experiment. So I think it's nice to try on something that you can go buy commercially, and yeah. But so this is KnitPicks Chroma worsted in the color Lupine. And I think the colors are looking a little washed out, but let me have it over there so that way, there we go. You can see the pretty yarn as I'm chatting with you and getting you set up. The question is, what's the difference between overdyeing and glazing? And glazing, when it comes to dyeing, sort of refers to an overdyeing technique where you get a thin layer of color, it strikes fast, and you can still sort of see the color underneath there. Now, it's sort of just a way of layering the color. There's some things that look, yeah, it's hard to know. I was playing around with this earlier using some colors that were more similar in depth. And it's a little hard to tell, at least right now, if things were glazed versus overdyed. But I think that they're not necessarily interchangeable, but they're very related. But for these glazing techniques, to get some of the color to show through, you want the dye to strike fast, and you don't want to leave it in the pot too long. So yes, those are definitely Rebecca colors. Now, some other important announcements. Tonight is the last night for the KnitPicks 15% off almost everything sale. I'm going to drop the link into the chat today, or right now, if it'll let me. It may not let me. Why is that so many more? I don't know why that's so many more. Oh, did I do the wrong link? Maybe not. All right. I'm attempting to drop the link in right now. The sale is good through 11:59 Pacific time tonight. So there's only a couple of hours left in the sale. But you use the code SPRING15, all caps at checkout. The coupon code's all over their site. And it's 15% off all in-stock physical items. It does not include downloads and backorder items, so like not downloadable patterns, but it works on clearance and it works on sale merchandise. So I got the coupon code off of the sale yarn of the month, which is still gloss, the whole gloss line, so I might have to place another order tonight. Would it be possible for the yarn to not take up any more dye? Yes. This I am not expecting to take up a ton of dye. It is already really saturated, and so I think that, there is a limit to how much dye yarn can take. This was apparent, and I had a really rich, deep, not quite maroon, but maybe something along the lines of the pink in this yarn that I overdyed in the really long 4.5-hour live stream. And that did not take up very much color. It definitely shifted the color, but it wasn't a drastic change. I'm doing great. Oh, it's my pleasure. That's why we are doing these live. Okay, so the KnitPicks sale, that's one big thing. The other big sort of announcement is a reminder that if you've been thinking about, if you're interested in sort of supporting ChemKnits on a more personal level, you really should check out the ChemKnits Patreon. It is a way for people to financially support creators that they love in exchange for some really cool rewards. So for example, ChemKnits patrons can get early access to a new dyeing video every month, exclusive behind the scenes sneak peeks as I am filming a new Dye Pot Weekly episode. And what I am doing tonight is sort of a sample of the type of behind the scenes sneak peeks that I offer for patrons. And I do at least one of those every month. There's an exclusive newsletter. You could get advance notice of restock sales for the ChemKnits Creations shop and more. Currently, the way my Patreon is set up is that you don't get charged until the first of the month. So if you want to be eligible for some of the shout out and coupon rewards, you need to be signed up by the end of May to get those June rewards. But otherwise, a lot of the other content is available immediately when you sign up. So, yes, that's how I spell my name. This is, well, I guess my full-time job is probably a stay-at-home mom. But then this is the rest of my job, full-time. Yeah. So this is what I do. But a bunch of you are already patrons, and so I really, really appreciate that. But I wanted to, normally the behind-the-scenes sneak peeks are only 20 to 30 minutes long, and tonight will be a bit longer because I'm going to do a few more prep steps live, and the actual dyeing won't take very long. But I just sort of wanted to give like a teaser of what you could expect if you want to see those exclusive behind the scenes sneak peeks. And if you become a patron today, you'll get access to all the archive of the behind the scenes sneak peeks. So that's a lot of fun. And oh, I should drop the link is in the video description, but I should also drop it in the chat. So then you guys have that link right there. But I think it's a lot of fun, and it's a way to, if you have a pressing question, you get my attention really quickly, because I get notifications from comments and personal messages there and stuff. And so it is a lot of fun. And, but one of the other reasons why I like it is when I film a new episode of Dye Pot Weekly or a new dyeing video, it often doesn't come out for 2 to 3 months. Part of that is because I always have a backlog of editing to do. But the other thing is that I'm filming, like this week I think I've worked on 8 different videos at some various stages. And so, with 2 videos a week, that's almost a month's worth. So I try to create ahead in case something like a broken foot or something comes up. That way I still have content to share with all of you. But that's why I like doing these sneak peeks, because then you get sort of, not only is it real time what I'm working on, but you kind of get a little sense of a new technique and get to ask me questions while I'm doing it. Welcome everybody. So let's get started. And the one thing I'm figuring out, so I have this all set up. I'm trying to figure out how I can do this so I can still see comments. I guess I'll have to rotate the computer. I didn't think everything through. Yeah, the youngest started preschool this year, which has allowed me to really dedicate more time. I used to spend a lot more time writing for my website, but then I decided with a Kickstarter last fall to go in and make videos and kind of go lean into that, shall we speak, shall we say. And it's been great because I feel like we've formed this really awesome community. So I am very, very excited. All right. So Chroma comes in ball form usually. I took it and I wound this around my niddy noddy. I have a 4-foot niddy noddy that I made out of PVC pipe. There's some videos about that on the channel. This, just for contrast today, because the counter is dappled, this is just, I think it's like a kitty litter tray that I got at the dollar store, but it's kind of nice for a work surface. But Chroma is 30% nylon and 70% wool. Yeah, 70% wool, 30% nylon. And this is a single ply yarn. It does have some variety. It sort of goes a bit thick and thin, but I love it. I love using it in color work because the colors slowly transition from one to another. And it's just a really, really lovely, lovely yarn. But, you know, we want to dye this. And so I think one of the things that we're going to do right now is something that I should be doing more often. And that is adding more ties to the yarn. So I have cut out of acrylic, I would say maybe, I didn't measure it. I think these are more than 6 inch, but I'd say maybe they're about 7 or 8 inches. And I'm going to use these to tie up this hank. But I don't want to tie around just like this in regular intervals, because if I do that too close together, you start to limit the access of the dye to these areas in between. So I'm actually going to, this is not a proper butterfly tie because I'm going for resist, but I'm going to tie a series of little knots along the length so that way I can try to get some cool resist points. I know, I love these colors. I'm not positive, but it is possible that this colorway might be discontinued. I think I might have some of this colorway in my stash as well. But since we're doing this sort of, and my white balance is way off, sneak peek of sneak peeks, let me tell you a little bit about my camera. I film all the videos these days on this Canon EOS 80D. This is actually the second version of my camera because the first one died the week of Ryder's first birthday when I had planned a massive photo shoot with backdrop and lights, and I had to quickly get a new camera body so that way I could take the pictures. But I can shoot with this in HD, and it has the zoom, and it works pretty nicely. Maybe at some point I'll get a dedicated video camera because then maybe it would have a slightly better microphone, but I've been pretty happy with this so far. And now my white balance is way off. I wish I could fix the white balance better on the camera. Okay, that's a bit better. I wish I could fix the white balance better on the webcam, but there's a limit to what I can do. Yeah, no, that was pretty devastating. So you guys are going to get to hear me transition from my recording, filming voice and my live stream voice, which is slightly more, I mean, I think it's all pretty natural, but I think that it's, I get amused by the way that my tones change. But hopefully, so right now, okay, so I'm right here. So I'm up here. The DSLR is over here. The webcam's over there. And my laptop's over there. It's a pretty tight fit, but hopefully this will work out. Okay. And so I've explained some things to you, but I'm now going to be re-explaining it for the filmed version. I could take the ties that I caught, or that I, and that's when we do take two. I could take the ties that I cut and just tightly wrap them around the yarn, like so, and tie it. But if I do these too close together, then you start to limit access of the dye to some of this yarn in the center, not just around the resist points. So instead, I want to sort of tie off smaller sections of the yarn at once. So I'm going to sort of take this section and tie a knot. And then I'm going to, this is not quite a butterfly, but this is sort of more like the ties that I should be doing more often. Oh, I guess actually, Well, maybe it'll be a tiny bit looser. We'll see. This is what happens when I sort of make things up as I go along. I like trying things for the first time in these videos. Okay, this is not quite as tight as if I would have done everything separately. Okay, so now we have this tight resist, and I'm going to give a little close-up. We have this series of knots here that will limit the dye penetration in this area, but if I do another one over here, there's still a little better way that the dye that we use can access the fiber. I just have to decide how closely to put the rest of the ties together. All right, now for viewers at home, let me give you guys a little bit of a close-up on this as well, if it shows up. So do you see the difference between doing that and, here, let me tie just a little bow. See the difference between those two sort of ties? So hopefully this will work nicely. As I said, the real question now is how many of these do I want to tie along the hank? I could do, you could do a lot. I could do them sort of infrequent. And in theory, they also don't need to be all in a row. Like I could do it sort of along a diagonal, and maybe I'll do that now and talk about that. So next the question comes to be, how regular should these be along the hank? And you could do them sort of in rows, or if you want to sort of vary the spacing of these ties a little bit more, maybe we can try going a little more on a diagonal and sort of shift where these are. Maybe this isn't quite a diagonal, but sort of going different distances. And this will make it a little less regular. And so I like some random variety. And so, I mean, I wouldn't even need to go and go through all the strands in one section. I'm just doing that because that reduces the number of ties that I need. You could do this. Actually, it might be easier to tie it straight and then sort of adjust the widths. But here, now I can show you what I'm talking about. So there's some places that loop out more, some that are closer together. It's not sort of taut in between, and that will sort of help some of these speckles occur in more random intervals. So I'm going to go ahead and add a bunch of more ties to this hank, and then we will sort of get ready to do our overdyeing. Preserve mucho color. Well, I think, so I'm planning on doing a pretty light glaze. So don't worry, there will definitely be some color preserved. I won't let you down too much, I hope. So now that I'm not worried about the DSLR, I can go a little faster, but hopefully this won't get boring for all of you. But now's a good time that if you guys have any burning questions about dyeing or about me, I'm always happy to answer things if I can. I suppose there's some things I can't or won't answer, but okay, so this one I did a little more straight across, but then you can sort of go and shift and pull some strands out to sort of give it some variety in the spacing. And actually, I think that that's pretty fun. I'm not sure how many of these I cut. I'm trying to, what I'm doing right now is I'm tying these ties for resist purposes. If I wanted to tie these for, to prevent tangling, then I would not be tying them as tight. I'm really, really bad when it comes to doing extra ties. I tend to not do them. But I tend to also be lucky and not end up with tangled messes. But yeah, so I haven't actually ever really done proper butterfly ties on my hanks as I'm preparing for dyeing. I just sort of go for some luck. Yes, but if I wanted to try to, let's pull some of that center one. If I really wanted to try to limit the, prevent tangling, then I would probably go about this slightly differently. I would want the ties to be looser, and I wouldn't be spacing them quite as close. So today, what color am I going to over dye with? Do you guys, I guess before I tell you, do you guys have any guesses? You guys are starting to know me pretty well, so you might be able to guess. But it's something that it's going for sort of a color combination that I love, but also something that I think will hold up well against this. I'm not sure how big the delay is tonight. You got it, Laurel. I'm going for black. I love black. I think mainly, especially with the acid dyes, I'm just happy that I think I'm just happy that I can have a true black to use. So again, if you're just tuning in, I'm tying resists, but I'm tying them sort of irregularly. So that way, I sort of want them to be, they might be a little bigger than speckles, but I sort of want non-repeating type colors. It's funny, the Wilton's black that I use doesn't really count as black, in my opinion. That is more of like a purple. I certainly use violet all the time, but with the acid dyes, I think that the black is my absolute favorite. And that's just because that is the color I could not get. It's the one that I wanted and the one that just I just couldn't do. And so it's the one color that I really, really needed. I just really needed the acid dye in order to do it. Can you color glaze or over dye with a lighter color? Actually, that is something that I was working on today. I think that my first glazing project came out recently. I forget what the Dye Pot Weekly number was, but that came out, was it just a couple days ago or was it last week? No, it was last week. And in that one, I over dyed with the black, but today I was playing around with something a little differently. And that is something that if you are a patron, you can learn a little more about in June. So for when you sign up for the Patreon, you can choose many different reward levels, but everyone starting at the $1 level, everyone gets access to the new dyeing video, the early access video for the month. So that is not something that I limit. How many projects do I make from my yarns? Not enough. Not enough. I think right now, a lot of my time goes into sort of the like filming, editing, and then there's like the behind the scenes kind of like promotional stuff that I do. And I have not spent quite as much time knitting. I'm starting to be able to do a bit more again. And part of that is that my youngest is almost 2.5, and he now understands, you know, don't touch a little bit better. So I'm able to not have the crying moments of having my stuff sort of destroyed. So there's that. Do I have any recommendations for companies to buy bare yarn from besides KnitPicks? So KnitPicks is the one that I use the most. And that is not just because I'm an affiliate. I became an affiliate with KnitPicks in October of 2017, but I've been using KnitPicks bare yarns pretty much from the beginning. I do have a list, let me see if I can find it, of other places where you can get bare yarns. Chemist bare yarns. Where to buy bare yarns? Yeah. So here, Franny, I'm just dropping a link in. This is sort of a list that I compiled of a lot of different sources of bare yarns. I've tried to mention the ones that I've tried or am familiar with, but I know a lot of independent dyers use Wool to Dye For. And I've tried some of their yarns, and their yarn bases are beautiful. I do have an EIN number, so I could set up a wholesale account now. But one of the reasons why I like KnitPicks is that you could buy 20 hanks or you could buy one. And so I think that given that I try to inspire the home dyer like myself from when I just started out, I like to try to do use materials that can be a little more accessible. Like, and another example of this is I have some of like the Synthropol. It's a soap that dyers use. It's a very neutral soap, and it's good for getting out excess dye and whatnot. And I haven't started using it because I know that it's not going to be as easy for people to get their hands on. And so one of my, I don't know, I guess life goals, one of my missions is to make playing with color and dyeing yarn to be as accessible and approachable as possible. And so you guys have watched me start to play with acid dyes and have a lot of fun with it. So yeah, but yeah, Wool to Dye For is a place. Another place I really want to try is, I've been really enjoying Knit Crate's yarn bases from the kits I've gotten, and you can actually buy their bare yarns as well. And that's something that I have not actually. In the May crate, we got a twisted yarn that I had been eyeing for a while, and that one is one that I might overdye at some point, because they sent the undyed base that they manufacture. Excuse me. But they have a lot of yarns that look really nice too. I think that they're the company, that their website is Yarn on Dye. No. Let me check. Nope. That is not it. Why am I totally blanking? Dyers. Yeah, okay. The Knit Crate line is Dyer Supplier. And although I am an affiliate with Knit Crate, I do not get any commissions from Dyer Supplier, or they have a few other websites and stuff. That is not part of the program, unfortunately, but I have been considering placing an order with them for a while now. Oh, you guys, some magic happened. I'm about to do this last tie, I was like, oh, I want to do one more tie. I had one more left. What are the odds? I didn't even count as I was making them. Oh, you just got your first knit crate? Woohoo! Yeah, I've been really, really happy with Knit Crate. And with any luck, maybe there's another subscription package that will be showing up sometime in June for me to try out for you. So I really like getting the chance to open these up and share it with all of you. But Knit Crate is a company I really like because they really support independent dyers and designers, and I think that that's really awesome. All right. Woohoo! Hello, Australia. I didn't even think about if I do this in the evening, then that makes the time work. That was an added perk. All right. So now you can see my lovely, and it's fluffy. Like the dye should be able to access some of these intermediate areas. And now I need to film a little more, and then we got to pre-soak this. So that's part's the bummer. But I have another project that I might work on while we wait for this to get wet. I have added all the ties, and as luck would have it, I had cut the exact number of ties as I ended up using to do this yarn. And you can see that it's really fluffy. I think that the dye should be able to have some access to these intermediate regions, but hopefully the dye will be limited around these acrylic ties so we can preserve some of these colors beneath the surface. But now I need to pre-soak the yarn, and we want to set up our dye pot so that way we are ready to go. Okay, I need a soaking bin. And by soaking bin, I like these dish pans from, I also get them at the dollar store. So I am going to add some water. Yay, I'm glad to help. I'm really glad that that link helps out. Yeah, I guess full disclaimer, my website does have affiliate links other places, but I always try, like when something is an affiliate link, to indicate that. And if you guys follow any of my affiliate links, I don't get any of your personal information. All I get are, if you make a purchase, then I get notified that a purchase at this date of this dollar amount was made. So that's the only information that I get. But it does help me buy more yarn. Okay. So, and filming for the edited video. I have added our hank of yarn to just some plain tap water, and I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of vinegar. Normally, I don't bother adding vinegar to my pre-soaking yarns, especially if I'm going to have vinegar in the actual dye bath. But today I wanted to pre-soak this yarn with some acid because we want the acid to strike quickly. We wanted to strike quickly and shallowly so that way we could sort of see through the haze some of these colors beneath. But the good thing is that if I leave it in the pot too long and we get too much black on this yarn, because of the resist ties, we should still preserve some of these stunning colors underneath. I am going to let this pre-soak for 15 minutes. Normally, I would say 20 or 30, but I'm actually filming this episode of Dye Pot Weekly during a live stream as sort of a sneak peek of the kinds of sneak peeks that I offer to ChemKnit's patrons. So if you would like to learn more about supporting ChemKnits on a more personal level, check out the ChemKnits Patreon, and you can find that link in the video description. And even though I'm saying that in the video for the viewers in the future, the same goes for all of you, that you can find a link in the video description for the Patreon. And I'll also pop that into chat. Let's see. Would it always be good to add some vinegar to food-safe dyes, even if it already had some kind of acid or vinegar in it? Julie, I think that it depends a lot. I'm heating up the dye bath while I'm going to come over and sit down, so you're not just staring at my bare counter. I think that it would vary a lot on what, sort of what it was. With Kool-Aid, you definitely do not need any other acid. With popsicles and maybe a superwash yarn, you might not need any acid. But with, for example, candy or something, or just straight food coloring, that you definitely need additional acid, even though there might, in icing colors, or in some things, sometimes there's some citric acid. Dye supplier sells single skeins on Etsy. Oh, that's good to know. Well, you can buy, they sell single hanks on their website as well. Not of everyone, but you can get some like trial ones. It's just a better, like you get a better deal when you buy the 10-pack. And so since I film and dye at such a volume, therefore I try to, I try to buy in bulk when I can. How many did I dye today? 4, 5, 6, 7. I dyed like 10 or 11. I told you this week I've worked on like 8 different videos. So having a lot of fun. But yes, Suzanne, there are so many ties on the yarn because it is a resist technique. So I try to tie them pretty tightly so that way the dye won't be able to get behind the tie, and we will get sort of like a reverse sort of speckling. Thank you for becoming a patron, Three-Way Street. Oh, I appreciate that so much. Yeah, if you become a patron today, your credit card won't be charged until I think they start charging and processing them on the 1st and 2nd of the month. So none of you need to worry about any double charges of being charged today and then being charged for June. But as soon as you sign up, you get immediate access to the whole archive of posts and stuff, and it's fun. I think one of my favorite things about Patreon is I really enjoy, every month I do this poll. And the poll sort of is something that I do so that way you can give input into the theme for the next early access video. And that series of the Patreon special early access videos are called Dye Pot PS. And each time a new Dye Pot PS episode comes out, I release the previous one. So right now the only one that's public is Dye Pot PS number 1. But I'm starting to work on number 3 for June, and so then when number 3 comes out, well, actually, number 2 is going to come out in a special. I'm doing a cellulose week, which maybe I should have called it Cotton Week because I'm not sure if I'm doing any other cellulose fibers, but I'm going to have a special week of and maybe some live streams in there too, but where I'm going to be focused on dyeing cotton yarns, no wool, except maybe sometimes I'll have wool as sort of like let's compare the cotton to the wool, but we're really focusing on different fun ways we're focusing on different fun ways to dye cotton yarns. And so that's something that I'm really excited about. Oreo, it's the same. Well, if you buy multiple 10-packs, then you start to save. I'm interested currently in buying mini skeins from people or bare yarn mini skeins so that way I don't have to wind them myself. But I sort of want mini skeins to go along with another yarn. Yeah, there's a lot I'm figuring out. Lots and lots I'm figuring out. But I think that it is just Yeah, a lot of fun. And all right, I'm gonna start setting up this dye pot. And so, which I think this is gonna be the first time that, nope. I think this is gonna be the first time that this device is gonna make an appearance in a Dye Pot Weekly episode. But today, I should turn my laptop around so I can see comments again. I'm gonna have to get the laptop off the counter soon. But I'm gonna be using this is I don't even think I have a link to it in the video description right now. This is the hot plate, the electric hot plate that I use. In general, I like using the gas burning stove, but because my stove is sort of in the corner of my house, I can't really, sorry about the bang, I can't really use it. It's hard for me to set up two cameras and have space for me at the same time. So I'll probably have to reconfigure all of you a little bit so that way I can get the pot on here, but we'll figure that out. Would I knit a project live? That's interesting. I mean, maybe sometime I would do like a Q&A while I'm knitting. So I haven't knit a whole project live. I have a wide range. Okay, that's not too hot for me to carry. Okay, maybe that's too hot for me to carry. I have a wide range of knitting tutorials on my website. And actually some of my most popular videos are, I can't see what number this is on. Okay. Some of my most popular videos ever are my knitting tutorials. And so sometimes, like, if I'm doing an unusual bind off, or if I'm doing something that's a little out of the ordinary for myself, then I like to do it. I like to try to film a video doing it. So that way I can help out. And sometimes this is when I get questions on how to do something, I'll do a new video. Oh, that's cool. But I have done, I did do a time-lapse crochet video once, and I did a crochet, like I like condensed an hour of crochet knitting into one video. And that was pretty fun. Okay, am I going to be able to raise this enough so I can see? Oh, yeah. I guess that kind of works. Okay. And now I need to raise you guys. Okay. I think we got this. I need a third camera so I can show you guys my super orderly house. Super orderly house. And wait, I need to show you guys my face right now. My super orderly house. And but the setup, like when I have all these cameras going, I actually think I want a third webcam, then I can switch from like I think a third tripod too. It's taking over. I'm having fun. I love doing these streams with you guys. It is just really fun. But yeah, it's hard. What I'm realizing with acid dyes is that it's a little hard. I don't have a good feel for the potency of them yet. I really need to play with them more because I was doing, say, something that was like a 1% on weight of goods, and the color is beautiful, but it's not super saturated. But that's also because like the gray is paler than like the black, and the red are way more potent than the silver gray, which makes sense because if you want like a nice medium gray, that's the way it's going to be. But it's something that I don't have like the feel for it like I do for food coloring. And so that's something that I need to learn. And it's all of this I'm learning alongside you. And so that's what makes this fun. Okay. but we're getting steamy hot. And oh, all right, we got to set up this dye pot. Oh, that was a weird face. I am a little excited. I have been keep doing the wrong camera. I have been looking forward to this project for a while. And I am officially going to move my laptop down off the table. Let's not have it next to the hot plate. And so, okay, I wrote down because I was smart. So the first, in the recent Dye Pot Weekly episode, whoops, okay, I have to show you this. Look what I knocked on the floor. My family. When I did the recent glazing video, I had 12 cups of water, 2/3 cup of vinegar, and 1/3 of a cup of black acid dye. And we talked about how maybe I should do less time and use less dye, but I think I want to have conditions that are really similar to that. I want to have a lot of dye in the pot. The thing that I'm going to do differently is I am going to, any of you are upstairs? The thing that I want to do differently this time is leave the yarn in the pot for a shorter period of time. But if I use only a tiny amount of dye, it'll strike through the yarn really quickly and unevenly before I can get it in the pot. So if there's a little more dye, I'm likely to get some more coverage all over the yarn, if that makes sense. And I do think I want to add some more water. I do think I want to go up to 12 cups. Now, of course, the water was already warm, and it's now not. This is cold water, but it is what it is. Okay, where is my measuring cup? All right, and let's start filling. In my dye pot, I have 12 cups of water. And to that, I am going to add 2/3 of a cup of white vinegar. The first time I did this glazing with black, I started with the same proportion. Oh dear. Catch the tripod. The first time I did glazing with black, I used the same proportions that I'm using right now. The main difference is that I think I'm going to put the yarn in the pot for a little shorter period of time. But the reason why I still want to have way more dye in the pot than I want to use is that way there'll be plenty of dye, so that way dye can reach more of the yarn versus exhausting the dye too early. I could increase the level of water even more, but let's just try it this way. Okay, now I need gloves. Just because, oh, there are the tongs, okay. I want gloves so that way I don't dye myself with color. Okay. And let's make sure I can still see, okay. All right, I'm currently shaking up my 1% stock solution, oh dear, of the Jacquard Jet Black. And I mixed this a few months ago. And so I'm now going to add 1/3 of a cup of this black dye to the pot. And 1/3 of a cup of the dye is about 80 milliliters. So if I was going to let all of this absorb onto the yarn, it would be about a 0.8% on weight of goods. Or I guess there's about 0.8 grams of dye in this pot right now. And now I'm going to let this heat up so we can get ready to do our glazing. And that is our pot. Yay, I'm glad you're awake. I'm glad I'm awake. Whoa, okay. Was that good timing or was that good timing? I mean, yeah, that, I couldn't have planned that better. And what could have happened, oh, you can see Indy sort of sleeping back there. What could have happened would have been like the beeping would have started while I was filming. That happens sometimes, but I just kind of roll with it. Oh dear. Aha, I made the right camera disappear this time. You have not missed very much, and don't worry, I will recap before we do the next step. Right now, I just mixed the dye pot, 12 cups of water, 2/3 of a cup of vinegar, and 1/3 of a cup of a 1% stock solution of Jacquard Jet Black. What you did miss, and was that I'm currently pre-soaking this Chroma yarn, and I have tied it in many different places. So we sort of want to do a resist dyeing. Again, where's the camera? Because the pot is hot, I can't really do that easily. But I've added multiple ties so that way we can try to do a little bit of a resist and preserve some of the color beneath it. But I'm currently pre-soaking this yarn with 3 tablespoons of white vinegar, so there's already acid in the yarn, a lot of acid in the pot. We want the dye to strike really fast. So that's why I am heating it up. And but the other thing is that all of this will be part of a upcoming Dye Pot Weekly episode. And so right now, how long have I been streaming? Was it, can I see? I can't see. Oh wait, I started at 9. So I've been streaming for 51 minutes, but I probably have less than 10 minutes of footage right now. So all of this will become a condensed episode later on. This is just a lengthy behind the scenes sneak peek of sort of what goes on as I'm filming an episode. So, you know, it takes, I guess it also shows it takes a little, when I even attend to have a 10-minute video come out, it takes a little bit longer for me to get everything going to dye that yarn. But sometimes I am able to finagle things with multiple burners so I can do multiple things at once. I'm glad that you could catch me live too. But I'm sort of trying to promote the Patreon tonight. And also, the KnitPicks 15% off sale ends in a couple hours. So let's see, if it's about 10 o'clock in New England, that means it's about 7 o'clock Pacific. And so therefore, there's 5 hours left of the KnitPicks 15% off sale. So that ends tonight. There's a coupon code, and the sale, the 15% off sale, is good on almost everything. I think it excludes back-ordered items and downloadable items, but basically everything else is good for the sale. But now, come on. Okay, I do have the heat on high. We see this beautiful, beautiful curling steam. I'm just waiting to see some movement on the surface. And not from me blowing on it like right then. Ooh, I'm starting to see some micro little bubbles. We're almost going to be ready. I should have counted. Ooh, I didn't count. Wait, where is my, oh, that's where my glass bowl is. I didn't count how long I left the yarn in the pot last time. Earlier today I did a count of 10, but that was a silk blend yarn. Ooh, spoiler alert, I'm talking about what I'm doing. Oh, this is for me, here, let me put my face on. I'm sending you a hug too. What? Oh. For me, this really is like visiting with friends too. I have an absolute blast doing these live streams. I hope that your day and your week improves, Suzanne. But yay, thank you. Yeah, Patreon, it's funny. It wasn't something I knew even existed until, so like right before I started the Kickstarter, a friend of mine was like, oh, have you thought about Patreon? And, you know, I honestly didn't know much about it. But so I started looking into it, and I didn't want to set it up while I was still fulfilling Kickstarter rewards. So once the Kickstarter ended, then I went for that. But yeah, it's fun, and I think, I don't know, I really enjoy. I think the polls are my favorite part. I really love hearing what you all want to see in my videos and what kind of content you want coming up. And that's why from the poll, the very first poll, I think focused on, I was like, okay, I have all these yarn bases I've never dyed before. What do you want to see? And overwhelmingly, people wanted to see like the linen blend and the cotton blends. And, oh, maybe that was the second poll. But either way, the first one, people wanted overdyeing and cotton. So there's just been requests to see more cotton techniques. And therefore, I want to deliver. I want to show you guys more cotton techniques. And so that's why in June, I'm going to do a whole cellulose week. And I'm working on, let me think. I'm hoping to do at least 5 videos. I think I've got 1 done, 1 ready to be edited. And I did, oh, maybe I did 3 today. Okay. But I have some other dyes I haven't tried yet, like Dylan. And a Dye Pop PS episode will come out then. So I'm going to have a lot of videos coming out, exploring different cotton techniques. Oh, goodness. I'm on the 70-inch TV. Okay, well, now I'm really big. Sorry. Ooh, any guess what next month's KnitPicks yarn sale will be for June? I don't know. I was guessing that it was going to be another cotton thing because of summer, but I liked the silk one. Yeah, I mean, I know, obviously I want it to be Stroll, but I think that they did Stroll, what, in November or something. Actually, remember in December when they had Bare Yarn be the sale of the month? That was cool. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't get any advance notice. Sometimes I can predict a little bit, like I knew the green yarn sale was coming because they had done that the last couple of years. So I know in like sometime in February there'll be a red yarn sale. Sometime in October, probably orange and black yarn sale. I don't know if there will be red, white, and blue in July or not. But I also observe that these 15% off sales tend to come when a lot of things seem to be on back order. A lot of maybe like black yarns, bare yarns, and things that people order a lot of. And I think that because then it does tempt you to make an order when you're waiting for something else to show up. But yeah, so I don't get any advance notice of when they're coming. Sometimes Craftsy will give me like a day's notice of a sale so that way I can be ready to promote something. But yeah, I don't get extra notice from KnitPicks. I just check their website frequently. Or sometimes you guys do. When KnitPicks announced their sock lab, I can't tell you how many of you messaged me and were like, ooh, does this have something to do with you? And unfortunately, no. That would be awesome, but it is an easy thing for me to promote, so therefore I think that that's fun. Yeah, and so sometimes on the first of the month, so when I wake up in the morning, they haven't gone into the office yet. Customer service shows up at like 5 a.m., but the people who do like the computer stuff, they don't show up until, probably 8 or 9 a.m. Pacific time. But so sometimes before they change the yarn sale of the month, you can see, if you're exploring the site, you can see like, I might notice like, ooh, this looks like it's 20% off. And so then sometimes like I can like put a little guess in there. But when I'm waiting for something on back order, that's when I really sort of push the, checking the website a lot more. But I'm debating whether or not I want to get some gloss lace. And the gloss line is 30% silk, 70% merino, and is really, really lovely. You're hoping Color Mist goes on sale soon? Yeah, well, Mary, there's the 15% off sale right now. And that stacks with other sales. Not that Color Mist is on sale, but I think in around Black Friday or Cyber Monday, they might do a 20% off coupon, at least last year. And I think the 20% is the best I've ever seen. The 15% comes every once in a while, but sometimes things might go on a bigger sale or clearance. But the yarn lines that tend to be the yarn of the month tend to be something that have multiple, tends to be a bigger line. Like they did Hawthorne recently, which has like a lot of colors. They've done, oh, maybe they'll do Shine next. That would make sense. Woohoo, Bear Capra! Yay! I have some of that. I need to dye that too. Okay, let me check on, and since I don't want to stand up, heat up pot, slow, we're watching a pot. Okay, but I'm going to show you guys. Look! I'm not in a boot anymore! That's why I can do this. I can kind of go up and down the stairs more. One more week from tomorrow, and then I guess my bone is officially healed. They said it takes 6 weeks for the bones to heal. So, yeah, I'm close. I still can't move the toe that I broke, but, and like so I broke it like down here. So I couldn't walk because I couldn't put any weight on it. But I'm trying to still restrict myself from running and stuff, but it's hard. I want to like dance and have fun. What's my favorite yarn to dye? Ooh. I think one of my favorites. Hi, baby. Do you want to say hi to everybody? Come on. This is Indy. This is my dog. He's white and floofy, and maybe someday I will spin his fur and make like a little like toy dog out of it. That's not, I mean, yeah. But he's lovely to our family, hates strangers. So, especially the mailman. You should get really cheap wool yarn and show the difference between it and the good stuff that you're using. So I like bare wool of the Andes because overall that's pretty inexpensive. I think with the discount it's under $4 a hank when I get it with the 15th. I buy it in bulk. I love Swish. KnitPicks Swish dyes really beautifully. I love, I'm really sad they discontinued Chroma Twist. At least the fingering Chroma Twist, that took up dye so wonderfully. That was the first one I glazed. And it was so, so soft. I think that maybe they kept the worsted weight Chroma Twist, but I'm not sure if there was a bare one. Oh no, there's a bulky Chroma Twist. Is there still a bare? Yeah, maybe I need to get some of that with this sale right now. Or maybe I should get some pastel of the Chroma Twist. I just liked the balance and the tightness of the of the spin. Oh, Felicia is really nice. If that weren't on back order, I probably would have ordered a 20-pack of Felicia. Again, it took up dye wonderfully. It has the exact same fiber content as Stroll, but it is got a little bit of a tighter twist to it. Yeah. So I have, and I need to explore more, I have a bunch of stock yarns and other wool yarns that I got at big box stores, which aren't necessarily cheap. They're inexpensive, but they're not poor quality. But I got some big name labels that I need to play around with more. The reason why I don't grab them more frequently is that they're in ball form, so I have to wind them into a hank. And the other reason is, so I have a science background, and I like to do controls, which means that I'm oh, I don't want to try a new technique on a new yarn base, because sometimes when I do that, I'm not sure if the results I got are due to the yarn base or due to the technique. So therefore, sometimes that sort of shifts the way that my thinking goes. But yeah, my favorite yarn base is a complicated question. I mean, Stroll is probably my go-to and the one that I've dyed the most. I love it. I'm knitting with it right now. I really, really enjoy it. But yeah, I was just trying to think if there's something that, ooh, imagination is awesome. Yeah, I like a lot. Oh, I like a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have suggestions of like a brand of yarn you want me to try, I have plans to do some more with acrylic yarns and polyester yarns. I have some other synthetic dyes for synthetic fibers that I want to play with, just for some exposure and options. Right now, the only true synthetic dye I've used, I just did a kettle dye technique on it, but I want to play around with maybe dip dyeing and some other techniques as well. And that that means that Indy needs to go outside. Good thing the pot isn't boiling yet. Woo! I did not stub my toe, I promise. Go outside? Yeah, there's many things about his training that are less than ideal, but one of the things that's awesome is that he rings a bell when he wants to go outside. So, there's that. You got Chroma Twist for the sock sale, but you forgot. Oh, no! Yeah, I still have a few hanks of the Chroma Twist yet left. Hawthorne has been really, really nice too. Have I ever tried Fisherman's Wool? Yes! Actually, I was winding some the other day. I've only dyed it in a live stream so far. I dyed one of the twisted ones. I think it had 3 strands of like an oatmeal color and 1 strand of a dark brown. And I have some of the reverse colorway as well. Oh, you failed with Rit dye on cotton? That's a bummer. I've had good success with Rit dye on cotton. I do need to redo, pot boil, please. I do need to redo the video that I did with the Color Stay Fixative. I tried it with navy and I didn't really see a huge difference, but I've heard that it makes more of a difference with some other colors, like red. Someone said it made a real difference on it going more pink versus staying red. So, and okay, you guys want a sneak peek? If once Indy comes in, maybe I'll start winding this. But I did, it looks like a mess. It's kind of a mess, but this was a full ball of yarn that I dyed with Rit. 100% cotton. And I did use the color fixative. I figured it was, I have it, why not? But we've got these great pink tones. Your black went purple. I haven't tried the black yet, but I did do some hand painting with charcoal gray and stuff, and those stuck around pretty well. But if your black turned purple, then you probably might want to try the color fixative. I wish it said what the color fixative was, so then I could say more about how it works. It doesn't really have active ingredients on it, but yeah. Ooh, Polworth. I've spun Polworth before. Yeah, I would definitely be interested in like branching out with some other breeds of wool to dye with. So, okay, let me see if I can get the dog back in. Ooh, we have a bird's nest now. We have this, it's not like an edible cherry tree, but we have this gorgeous cherry tree. And I was trimming some dead branches because I like to sit under it, and I found this nest. It's up high, and I took pictures of them all over. Indy, come. Good boy. Hi. Oh. Okay. Do you want? Oh, you're hungry, aren't you? Okay. I better feed him. We're waiting for it to boil anyway. He's looking at me. Normally, he feeds Indy. And so, I feel like a bad mom. Although you did eat sort of a whole cup of goldfish earlier. Okay. Usually the one of my children that interrupts is not the 4-legged one. Normally it's the other guys. Okay. I'm gonna go check I'm gonna go check on this pot. Oh, I can't see chat anymore. I mean, that feels... It's pretty warm. Definitely got a lot of steam, but I think I have this. Ow! Okay, the hot pot is hot. Jeez Louise. That whole station is hot. Ow. I'm okay. I didn't burn myself or anything, but it surprised me. I wasn't expecting. Yes, dear. Oh, okay. Maybe some more water. I was not expecting the little base of it to get so warm. But I think I'm going to go ahead and go and dye this. The dyeing will probably take less than 10 seconds. And so, but then I'll find like some other hank of yarn and dye that too, because I don't like to leave dye left behind. You think the pot is boiling down? Oh, well, some of that ring is a ring that's in the pot. Like, that's a stain on the pot. I mean, but it is, the water level could be going down. It's just, okay, I'm going to go for it. Yeah, much pot. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Amy, you are super thirsty. Okay, but will you be quiet so Mommy can film? Okay. All right. Okay, but Indy, I want you to stop drinking so that way I can film. Will you come? Lay down? Wait. Frequently goes and hangs out with Keith while I do this. Okay. I am now going to turn on the other camera. Okay. The pot is hot. We're probably below a boil. I'm going to just go for it at this point. I have wrung out a lot of the excess yarn from our resist yarn, and I am going to quickly add it to the pot, sort of stir things up and count. Well, we'll see how high I count. But are we ready? Let's go for it. Yeah. Go in, go in, go in. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. About 10 seconds. You can see that we got a lot of color in this yarn. But what you might not be able to see very well, because it is still very steamy, is that some of the original colors, this is very heavy. Maybe if I had done like even 1 second, it would have been less. But you can definitely see some of these reds coming through, and even a little bit of blue. I think that part of this glazing process and this over-dyeing type process is that when you do this, you get the original colors show through, and they sort of show through in a way that they wouldn't necessarily if you were hand painting and mixed the black with the pink. You might not get these kinds of tones exactly. So this is really cool. And oh, I moved the tie aside and it worked. I moved it aside a little bit and I see some purple there. I am so excited. But now I need to let this cool. So that way we can cut off the ties and take a better look at the yarn. Okay, live stream friends. Let me see. You can see the point. Yeah. Can you kind of see where I removed the tie? Or I shifted the yarn a little bit. You can see some of that blue and purple come through. So I'm going to let this cool as much as I can so that way I can cut off at least one of the ties before the end of the stream. So what made me name my dog Indy? Well, we named the dog Indiana. It's an Indiana Jones reference because, no, don't cry. It's awesome. I promise it's not black. It's like red and black. And there's going to be purple and blue sort of like speckles in it. It's going to be super awesome. Super, super, super awesome. But we named, so in Indiana was the dog's name. So Indiana Jones didn't like being called Henry, so he started calling himself Indiana after the dog. So it's all like a, so we named the dog Indiana. Right, can we go find some more yarn? What do I have? All right, our choices are some hawthorn, which is, where's the camera? 80% wool, superwash wool, superwash fine Highland wool, 20% polyamide, and I've got some capretta, which is 80% fine merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. Oh, and that's not even on the camera. So one of these is going to get a dunk in the pot, and we might add some other colors to this too, but I want to use up that dye and add some more color. So let your preferences be known, friends, and I'll let you guys vote, do a rough vote in the chat, and we'll to decide what yarn I should add to the pot. Okay, this yarn is awesome, but I want it to cool off faster. I'm really excited. I do sort of wish someone had said, I don't think I have any navy around. I would have loved to have overdyed it with navy, but I think I did two colors that ended up being more medium toned and it wasn't as intense. One of these days I will absolutely, do some, I see one of each. I need some more people to weigh in. One of these days I will absolutely do something where I'll do like, I'll have a glazing pot, and like I'll add one, then I'll add a second, like, or maybe like I'll add three, and then I'll remove one right away, and then remove one a little later. Hawthorn. Yes, I have, it was just, I don't know if it's come out. I did like a kettle dyeing, and I had some acid dye and some food coloring, and I just poured all kinds of things in there in a really gorgeous fall kind of red. But oh yeah, he's wonderful. Okay, I see more hawthorns. I will do the capretta soon. I have 5 hanks of the capretta. So that is, I'm curious how much color is left in this pot. But this goes to show, with the same amount of, say, the Jacquard Violet, I didn't get anywhere near as intense coverage. So this is what I mean when I say I need to get a feel for these different colors. I'm still learning a lot. Okay, and now this is just for you. This is bonus live stream content as we wait for the other yarn to dry. So I've got the hawthorn, it's dry, and we're going in. Ooh, we might get a nice gray out of this. Ooh, that's pretty. That's really pretty. This looks a lot like silver gray, actually. But I put this in dry, and we'll see. Sometimes with the black, there's a little bit of red that sticks behind in the dye pot. But I'm excited. I'm kind of digging this already. But yeah, we'll see. We'll let this exhaust some of this color. I'll set a timer for 10 minutes. And then we'll decide if we want to add some more dye to it as well. Oh, on camera, for you guys, it's looking pretty dark. Ooh, actually, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to take, so when I have things that are waiting a while, I like to take the DSLR off of the tripod. That way I don't have a massive accident and destroy it. But, yeah, no, the black dye, a lot of it got soaked up already. But black dye is pretty potent. Let me, properties. Let me shift you. Wrong way. Oh, actually, no, that I guess I do want to go that way. I want to go over there, and then I'll move my head over here. It's a really gray and black are two colors that I love. I love, love, love. But I have a big lament that they're not easy to do with food coloring. Like if people ask me how to get a true black, I say go to an acid dye. Oh, I could probably stick it in the freezer. I don't want to shock the fibers by having them cool off too quickly. I have it. Okay, yeah, it's starting to cool off, so it's still warm, but I could handle it. I'm going to let it kind of cool a little longer. But as I pick it up, some of the resist sections are peeking out, and it is awesome! I wish I had, so this is a dedicated dye pot. I only use it for dyeing yarn. I do not use it for food or anything, but I like to sometimes check the color in the pot. Oh, that's actually very clear. Ooh, this is pretty. This is really pretty. This is really nice. We've got like a nice glaze. I think that there's some yarns that when you dye them, it looks like the dye didn't penetrate all the way through the fiber and it seems like a halo. That's something that people often refer to as a glaze. But I think with some yarns, it's harder to get that kind of effect than others. But, okay, I'm going to actually turn off the hot plate and I'm unplugging it because for some reason I feel like, oh, maybe I haven't used it with this pot. Maybe that was the problem. But this is basically clear. But we have some nice tonal variation. Oh, yeah, this looks like a nice glaze over white. You can, you get these pale, it's because the dye is still black, but it gives it this gray quality. But if you look closer at some of the pale sections, you kind of can feel the black, if that makes any sense at all, which it might not. It really might not make sense. Okay. That was my pre-soak. I'm moving this out of the metal pan so that way that's cool enough I can do that. And now I can remove this guy. And I was considering potentially adding another color in, but this is gorgeous enough on its own that, and I'm not sure, oh, I can't see on the computer. I'm not sure I can really do it justice. Oh, hello. My head is still here. So I'm not sure if this can really do it justice, but it is really, really lovely. And oh, yeah, you can see this is a really gorgeous glaze. Of course, now you're crackling, pot. Okay. Oh, you guys want to see? Okay, I've got a nice felted oven mitt right here. One of the very first things I ever made with wool yarn. And one of the reasons why I discovered KnitPicks was because I was looking for 100% wool feltable yarns. And they had some that you could buy in 50-gram balls. And I wanted to do sort of a striped colorwork felted thing. And I thought, well, gee, that's perfect. So there we go. That's the history. And so that oven mitt was also an office reference, and I made that for Keith for one of our early Christmases together. Now you have a nice view of just the hot plate. I want to come see if there's anything in the chat. Oh yeah, I probably should have put the lid on. Oh, I think it's definitely hot. I think that maybe just, this pot definitely comes to a rolling boil. I think that, yeah, for whatever reason, it just wasn't doing it. Next time I'll bring the lid. If the picture is slightly blurry, check your, check the quality that you're watching it on. Like you might be at a really low resolution, so you might be able to go up to, say, for example, so if I'm watching on 240p, it looks a little blurry, but if I go up to 720, which is HD, it looks a lot clearer. But I don't want to be at 720 because that might make the computer run slower. So I'm going to go to 480. Yeah, the pot looked dark, but ooh. I mean, the thing with these acid dyes, they're food coloring. Like the black food coloring is a mixture of red, blue, and yellow. But this black acid dye is a black molecule. So there's that. There are some acid dyes that break, that are a mixture of different compounds. But yeah, there's just a lot that is fun about this. Oh, you're on your phone? Yeah, I'm not really sure how to edit that, but pulling up, had some notifications. Oh, thank you guys for becoming patrons tonight. Laurel and Catherine, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, if you become a patron today, you can go immediately watch the episode 2 of Dye Pot PS. And episode 3 should be coming out, within the first 2 weeks of June. I'm clear on the 70-inch. Well, that's good. Okay, I need to figure out, reconfigure things. You always watch on your phone? Yeah, I when I watch live streams, I oscillate between my phone and I oscillate between my phone and the computer. But I find that the computer, I get better real time. So if I'm doing something where I need to respond and try to claim stuff, kind of like a live sale, then see, I'm being smart when I'm moving that. Then I definitely try to watch on the laptop because I get something more real time. Move that cord out of the way. Bring this so I can see. Oh, I missed comments. Oh, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. Okay. I've got the yarn. Whoa, that looks black. I mean, on the stream. It does not look that black in person. In person, I see some dark, navy, a little bit of black, some maroon. It's really it took all those colors that we had and sort of brought them to a darker place. Oh yeah, you bought black sprinkles? Okay, well let's cut we're going to cut some of these ties. Oh, I need to get the other camera. I wish, maybe I can first edit this. Yeah, that is what you see. Oh, funny. I forgot about the timer. What you see is not the way that it looks in person. No, maybe I can, oh, I think I want to shift the exposure. I mean, it's a little blown out the way I just put it, and I'm just going to leave it like that for a minute. But the blown out, I'm waiting for it to come through. It still looks really dark. I like many things about this webcam, but the color control is not one of them. Oh, let's try reducing the contrast. Colors are just looking weird. Oh, I wish I could make it come through more true for you. Okay, I need better scissors. This is the part that I did not really plan for. Do I have little sharp scissors in my like knitting kit? I might. I want like really, oh, you know what I want? The haircut scissors. I still cut Ryder's hair. Are those down here? So I cut Ryder's hair with these like little haircut scissors. Yay, you're making a sock blank! Woohoo! It's funny, when I first did, I need to do another sock blank special. I have so much fun with those. I really want to do some more stenciling. Okay. Oh, I can lower this now. Maybe just a bit at least. Okay. Get the, maybe I'll turn it that way for the, okay. So you can already see a little, whoa dear. Now that the yarn has started to cool, you can already see a few hints of where some of the color from the resists has worked and stayed behind. But the color, this dark color, is not black. We've got sort of a navy, maybe a little bit of black, but maroon. We could have had it in for a little less time and there would have been a little less black that it absorbed. But I think that this is really, really beautiful. So now I'm going to zoom in on one of the ties and we're going to cut it. Oh, I guess I can't zoom in as much as I thought, but oh well. Okay, let's start with this tie right here. And I have these nice pointy scissors. I do not want to snip the yarn. And I'm feeling really nervous now, but the nice thing is that the one snip down by the double knot and then the rest should just sort of come apart easily. But you see what's coming through? You see those bright, bright colors? Oh, there's one more. Now this is fun. Let me arrange that, but can you see that wonderful brightness? So behind the resist, we have these bright flecks of color. This is almost a reverse speckle. And so as we go through, we should have these colors randomly placed. And when you knit with this, you'll get a gradient of these colors. There'll be the, multiple pinks in a row, multiple blues in a row, etc. But there'll be some more variation within the yarn itself. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut all the rest of the ties. Okay, so, and to give you all a close-up, check it out. It worked! The colors that you guys see unfortunately, are nowhere near as good. I'm a little bummed that I couldn't do it, get the colors to be a little more true, but let's do another one. So it'll take a little bit of time, but this is a little better than cutting in between each one. More speckles. So I can get a sense of the brights. This worked really, really nicely. And at this stage, I'm willing to hang out for a while as I work on this. Actually, although maybe I want to sit down. I'm going to come around. I know you guys won't be able to see as well, but I shouldn't be. I am still healing, so hopefully you guys will give me a little bit of license here. I'll make myself big. Ah. Eek, I'm huge. Oh no, I don't know. Oh, I can show this here too, but look. Resist worked. It worked, it worked. But this way I can see questions easily as I work to undo these ties. You need to buy, well, you have 2 experiments waiting to get done. You know, sometimes things that I wasn't sure if they'd be a good idea end up being some of my best yarns. So if you have the yarn to spare, the worst that happens is that, maybe you have to overdye something, or maybe you ruin, 100 grams of yarn completely. But if you're really nervous, go ahead and make a mini skein and do like 10 grams or something at once. Now, hopefully, in doing all this, I won't accidentally undo the actual ties. That would be a bit of a disaster. But, okay, I know that there was a lot of doubt out there. This is just so cool. So cool. Yeah, there's the moment, just like with the other glazing video, there was the moment of horror of what have I done? I ruined this yarn, but I gotta tell you, this is worth it. This is totally worth it. Huh. I have not had very good luck with pens and stuff so far. Just saying. Now, the one downside to Chroma is that as a single ply, it sort of like sheds a little bit. But I think that this is so cool, you guys. What's funny is that the acrylic that's left is not pure white anymore. It took up something. It's sort of dirty looking. Do I see any true black? Maybe. It's a little hard to tell right now because I think once the yarn dries, I'll get a better sense of the true colors. Things always appear a bit darker when wet. But I have a feeling that there might be some hints of black, but it's really more of like a sort of maroon. But this is fun. Now I want to go buy all the Chroma. Don't buy it before I can. Oh no, I regretted a little bit with the Chroma twist when that was on clearance. telling all you guys about it. And then I went to go buy more and it was gone. And I was like, oh man, I should have, like, before sharing that, I should have bought more. I didn't know how much I was going to love it until after it was already out of stock. So, this is a lot of fun. Hopefully, there we go. Hopefully I don't lose the actual tie. Maybe I'll add some more real ties because I don't know if I'm losing the like actual ties as I'm doing this. But here is how it's looking, and so I love it. It's going to just be random. It's really sort of brought this up a notch. And now, of course, the last thing will be to decide. I don't know if this will end up in the shop. I have a feeling that this is one that is going to end up in the personal stash. But every so often, like when I first set up the shop, there were some things that I kept in the personal stash from the Kickstarter that then I decided I could say goodbye to. But I sometimes have trouble letting the yarns go. Uh-oh. Where is the... No. I don't know. Okay, I better add some ties to this. Because I am seriously risking... I don't know, the original ties on here were just the ends of the yarn. And I have no idea where those are right now. So while I have these other ties on here, I am going to go ahead and add, and I obviously still need to wash this yarn. Okay. There's a tie. Hold on, come over here. So these ties will slip around and stuff, but I'm done with the dyeing. I just have to wash. And so this will just help me keep it a little protected. Ooh, a dark-sided unicorn colors. Yeah. That is something that I love too. Yeah, this one is a lot of fun. I know, like, it's a shame to over dye a stunning yarn, but at the same time, I am so glad that I tried this on a yarn that I'm so glad that I tried this on a yarn that I didn't dye first. If I had dyed a colorway halfway as gorgeous as this one and then messed this up, I think I would be really sad. But sometimes it's hard. Like, sometimes I have a prediction and things work. Sometimes I go for something and I still end up with something really beautiful. It might not be what I was setting out to do, but that's okay. And if you want to do dyeing experiments, it helps to go in with the mindset of, I wonder what will happen if. And if you go in with that mindset, then you can always be happy with the results. Whereas if you go in with I hope to get X, Y, Z, then there's a greater chance that you could be disappointed. So when I'm cutting this, sometimes I'm cutting like under the double knot, but sometimes I'm cutting within that knot because like if I feel like I can't get the scissors between the yarn and the tie, I'm trying to be very careful because I do not want to ruin this at this stage. That would make me cry. I think if at this stage I were to cut the yarn in the middle of all this, that would make me cry. It's easier to see it in front of my dark dress, probably. Yeah, the problem is that the camera doesn't like dark colors, and then it doesn't like non-dark. Yeah. Filming dark things. I mean, I couldn't even get I had trouble getting the colors right on the DSLR as well. So it'll help once it's dry. And not only once it's dry, but once we're in daylight. What? Okay, Rebecca, don't get cocky. think this is the last one. Now I do have, Chroma does come in natural colors. So you don't have to just get the bare yarn version. But I think part of the beauty is that the wool in it is non-superwash. Okay, here we go. Oh no. Oh, that's fine. Okay, I am gonna stand back up, but check it out. Yeah, we're definitely a bit blown out over here. I'll just try it on the counter. Gotta come and turn off my face. And the colors on my face are really weird. Okay. All right, here it is. Here is our gorgeous, gorgeous resist overdyed glazed yarn, where we now have a gradient. Am I on the thing? Yeah. We've got this gradient of speckling that came from the ties we placed on the yarn. How often do I find knots or joins in bare yarn? Gosh, I think it depends. I mean, if I'm not winding it into like rescanning it, then I don't necessarily find it. I forget, the industry standard, I believe, is that you can have plus or minus like 10% of the advertised weight. And then I forget what the standard is for knots and joins, that you could have up to, I don't remember if it's up to 3. I mean, it seemed way higher. Very rarely, I think once in Chroma there was a knot and it messed up the colorway. But then I think that they sent me a whole new ball. No, they sent me a ball because it was like 8 grams short. And even though that's within the like 10% that's okay, for a 100-gram ball to only be 92, I wrote them and they sent me a new one. So then I had enough for my project, which was nice. But this is amazing. And I should film something. I still need to wash it, but I wish that it were daylight right now, so that way you could really appreciate the dark and the bright that it is in this yarn. Oh, I guess if I have my hand here, then the color balance is a bit better. We have, it's not a true black everywhere. It's still this navy and maroon, but we see these brighter flecks of color in here. And it is just breathtaking. Now the yarn is completely cool. I did add 2 new ties, so that way I didn't risk getting a tangled mess at this stage. But I'm going to go wash the yarn and then hang it up to dry. But live streamers, I'm not going to show you the washing today. I will do that off camera. Oh, I'm not even, there we go. It's so pretty. I'll try to take some pictures for Instagram or something in the morning when things are less, when I have natural light. It'll be a little easier. This does not do it justice. This is why whenever I do a live stream, I always try to do a recap and show the finished dried yarns, because I know that I can't always capture the essence and the amazingness of the colors that we get, or the of the colors that we get from my live streams. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in this stream. This was a lot of fun. And again, this is a longer version. So we've gone for about an hour and 50 minutes now, whereas normally when I do the behind the scenes sneak peeks, I aim for around 20 to 30 minutes. So that way, I know not all the patrons that get access to the behind the scenes videos will be able to, and I believe that's at the wool level reward, so $5 or more a month for the behind the scenes sneak peeks. And with that, I wanted it to be something that people could easily watch the recap, because I know the odds of me being able to do it at a time when a lot of people could join would be pretty slim. So therefore, that is, but I am going to attempt to try to mix up the timing a bit more for those live streams. Yeah, I'm glad that so many of you were able to join me late at night. I know that a lot of you work, and so therefore you can't always join in the daytime live streams. Since this is my work, I can do the daytime streams because that's when the kids are at school, but they are fast asleep, so that is good. Oh, that's awesome! I'm glad if I can help some of you relax, bring a little bit of like just slow TV and fun to your day, then that means that what I'm doing works. It's funny, I didn't conceive of myself as being like entertainment, but then I realized like, oh, there are these people that stream that I watch and enjoy. And yeah, I think that I really enjoy doing these streams. I think also because, as I mentioned, when I'm filming new episodes, they are going to come out for 2 to 3 months. And so therefore, even though I could edit them I can do a video start to finish with the dyeing and then the editing and waiting for the yarn to dry within a week. But it's just with the way the schedule is, I have a queue of videos waiting to go. And so, ooh, okay, that, I should have rubbed the broken toe. So I have a queue of videos, and so doing the live streams can really show you something that I'm working on in the moment, and that's a lot of fun. Oh, I'm so glad that you're feeling better. I'm so glad. And I'm so glad so many of you can watch from Australia too. I know I mentioned this before, but I lived in Brisbane for 5 months when I was in college. I stayed at St. John's and went to UQ for a semester. And that was a highlight of my, is that early adulthood? Because it's not adolescence anymore. But yeah, and so I traveled up and down the eastern coast and was amazing. But I need to go back because I need to go see some of the more interior, and I haven't ever been to New Zealand. So there's a lot in the region I need to still go and visit. But I feel like I purposefully myself went to more destinations in Australia than I've gone out of my way to go in the US. But anyway, that's a bit of a tangent. So as I am signing off, there are, I guess, a couple reminders. There's just a couple hours, I think 4 hours left of the KnitPicks sale. You don't want to miss out. I just dropped my affiliate link in the chat, but if you're checking the replay, the affiliate link's also in the video description. And with the code SPRING15, you can get 15% off your KnitPicks order. Oh, I went to the Melbourne Cup in, must have been 2004. Yeah, I didn't win any money, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to go to the race. And so I just spent maybe 2 days there. I feel like, I don't remember where else we went when we were down there, but we went specifically to go see the race. So that was really fun. Oh, Adelaide, cool. I haven't been to South Australia yet either. Wait. I guess is Melbourne in Victoria? I don't remember. I don't remember my geography, so I don't want to embarrass myself on that one. But I appreciate it. But I haven't been to Adelaide. Yeah, the cup was really fun. Yeah, but and the Whitsundays were awesome. But yeah, I had a great non-science semester, but I took a lot of history and just I was living with non-exchange students, and so that was a lot of fun. But anyway, I digress greatly. But the other thing that I am sort of talking about tonight is if you want to access to all of the June rewards as patrons, and these include shout outs, in the early access video and coupons to the Knits Creations Etsy store. Those are, if you want those perks for June, you need to sign up in May. Otherwise, you'll get, if you sign up in June, you'll first get those perks in July. But otherwise, you can get, otherwise all the other like rewards, like the advance notice of sales and early access videos and everything, those become available immediately whenever you sign up. But I have just dropped a link in the video description. And yes, the KnitPicks 15% off sale works on, I bought cloths too, because 20% off and then 15% off of that. It works on the bulk bare yarn discount packs, which of course they're out of the ones that I need to buy the most, but it works on that. So anyway, okay. Hey, yay! Okay, I'm glad that I was like, I think Melvin's a Victorian. Yeah. I was like trying to look at it like, wait, I don't remember. But I loved it. I look forward to going back someday. But anyway, I am going to go. I'm going to go wash the yarn and go to bed. But I hope that you all have a fantastic evening, and thank you so much for watching and for hanging out. I had a blast, and I'll try to share some pictures of this. Well, I guess I'll wait for it to dry, but then I'll share some pictures of it. So I'm so glad that this worked. I love it when things work. Anyway, good night, everybody. Oh.